I was trying to play the 12-bar blues with 2 bars. I was trying to fill the room with the shot and awkward color. I was trying to limber your shuffle, the muscle wired to muscle. I wanted to be a lucid hammer. I was trying to play like the first mechanic asked to repair the first automobile. Once piano, every man-made song could fit in your mouth. But I was trying to play Burial's Ghost Hardware. I was trying to play Steam and Sequins for Larry Levan without all the artificial bells and smoke. I was trying to play the sound of applause by trying to play the sound of rain. I was trying to mimic the stain on a bed, the sound of a woman's soft, contracting bellow, the answer to who I am. Before I trust the God who makes me rot, I trust you, piano. Something deathless fills your wood. Because I wanted to be blacker, because I wanted to be invisible, I was trying to play like a woman blacker than an unpaid light bill. Like a white boy lost in the snow. I wanted to be a ghost because the skull is just a few holes covered in meat. The skin has no teeth. I was trying to play the sound of a shattered window. I was trying to play what I felt singing in the mirror as a boy. I was trying to play what I overheard, the old questions, the hunger, the rattle of spines. The body that only loves what it can touch always turns to dust. What would a mother feel if her child sang, "Sometimes I feel like a motherless child," too beautifully? A hole has no teeth. A bird has no teeth. But you got teeth, piano. You make me high. You make me dance as only a sail can dance its ragged, assailable dance. You make me believe there is good in me. I was trying to play California Dreaming with Jose Feliciano's Warble. I was trying to play it the way George Benson played it on the guitar his daddy made him at the end of the war. My lady, she dreams of Chicago. I was trying to play Mahamadou Bamba, like a band of Africans named after a tree. A tree has no teeth. A horn has no teeth. Don't chew, piano. Don't chew. Sing to me, you fine-ass lounging harp. You fancy engine doing other people's work. I was trying to play the sound of an empty house because that's how I get by when the darkness in my body starts to bleed. I was trying to play Autumn Leaves because that's what my lady's falling dress sounds like to me. Before you, piano, I was just a rap of knuckles on the windowsill. I am filled with the sound of my lover's breathing, and only you can bring it out of me. In New York, from a rooftop in Chinatown, one can see the sci-fi bridges and aisles of buildings where there are more miles of shortcuts and alternative takes than there are Miles Davis alternative takes. There is a white girl who looks hijacked with feeling in her glittering jacket and her boots that look made of dinosaur skin. And R is saying to her, I love you, again and again. On a Chinatown rooftop in New York, anything can happen. Someone says abattoir is such a pretty word for slaughterhouse. Someone says mermaids are just fish ladies. I am so fucking vain that I cannot believe anyone is threatened by me. In New York, not everyone is forgiven. Dear New York, dear girl with a barcode tattooed on the side of your face, and everyone writing poems about and inside and outside the subways. Dear people underground in New York, on the sci-fi bridges and aisles of New York, on the rooftops of Chinatown, where Miles Davis is pumping in, and someone is telling me about contronyms. How cleave and cleave are the same word looking in opposite directions. I now know bolt is to lock and bolt is to run away. That's how I think of New York. Someone jonesing for Grace Jones at the party and someone jonesing for Grace. But for this one, I guess all I'll say is that, James Brown was briefly imprisoned in South Carolina in the late 80s, and my mother, before she retired, was a prison guard. I do like to make up stuff. Somebody said that to me earlier, like, Terrance, I don't believe nothing you say. She said that, I tell you be lying, I do lie. That's all imagination is. But this is mostly accurate, it's mostly true. How to be drawn to trouble. The people I live with are troubled by the way I have been playing Please, Please, Please by James Brown and the Famous Flames all evening, but they won't say. I got a lot of my mother's music in me. James Brown is no longer a headwind of hot grease and squealing for ladies with leopard-skinned intentions, stoned on horns and money. Once, I only knew his feel-good music. While my mother watched convicts dream, I was in my bedroom pretending to be his echo. I still love the way he says, please, 10 times straight, bending one syllable until it sounds like 3. Trouble is one of the ways we discover the complexities of the soul. Once, my mother bit the wrist of a traffic cop, but was not locked away because, like him, she was an officer of the state. She was a guard at the prison in which James Brown was briefly imprisoned. There had been broken man-made laws, physical and spiritual imbroglios, a car chase melee, a roadblock of troopers in sunblock and sunglasses with possibly no eyes behind them. T-R-O, you better believe in trouble. Trouble is how we learn what the soul is. James Brown, that brother could spice up any sentence he uttered or was given. His accent made it sound like he was pleading whether he was speaking or singing. A woman can make a man sing. After another of my mother's disappearances, my father left her bags on the porch. My father believes a man should never dance in public. Under no circumstances should a grown man have hair long enough to braid. If I was a black girl, I'd always be mad. I might weep too and break, but think about the good things. My mother and I love James Brown in a cape and sweat like glitter that glows like little bits of gold. In the Polaroid she took with him, he holds her wrist oddly, probably unintentionally covering her scar. There's the trouble of being misunderstood and the trouble of being soul brother number one, soul brother Godfather Dynamite. Add to that the trouble of shouting, I got to get out, I got to get down, I got to get on up the road. For many years, there was a dancing competition between my mother and father, though rarely did they actually dance. They did not scuffle like drums or cymbals, but like something sluggish and close to earth. You know how things work when they do not work. I want to think about the good things. The day after the Godfather of Soul finished signing just that, all over everything in the prison, all my mother wanted to talk about were his shoes. For some reason, he had 6 or 7 pairs of Italian leather beneath his bunk, suggesting the places he'd been, even if for the moment he wasn't going anyplace. Think about how little your feet would touch the ground if you were on your knees pleading 2 or 3 times a day. There are theories about freedom, and there is a song that says, none of us are free. My mother had gone out Saturday night and came home Sunday an hour or so before church. She punched clean through the porch window when we wouldn't let her in. I can still hear all the love buried under all the noise she made. But sometimes I hear it wrong. It's not James Brown making trouble, it's trouble he's drawn to. Baby, you done me wrong, took my love, and now you're gone. It's trouble he's asking to stay. My father might have said, please, when my mother was beating the door and then calling to me from the window. I might have heard her say please just before or just after the glass and then the skin along her wrist broke. Please, 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 please. That's how James Brown says it. Please, 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 honey, please don't go. Outside Pataskala, I saw the deer with the soft white belly, the deer with 2 eyes as blind as holes. I saw it leap from a bush beside the highway as if a moment before it leapt, it had been a bush beside the highway, and saw how, if I wished it, I could be the deer, a creature bony as a branch in spring. And when I closed my eyes, I found the scent of muscadine, the berry my mother plucked Sundays from the roadside, where fumes toughened its speckled sin and seeds slept suspended in a mucus thick as the sleep of an embryo. It is the ugliest berry along the road, but chewed, it reminded me of speed. And I saw, when I was the deer, that I didn't have to be the deer. I could become a machine with a woman inside it, moving at a speed that leaves a stain on the breeze and on the muscadine's flesh, which is almost meat, the sweet pulp a muscadine leaves when it's crushed in the teeth of a deer, or a mother for that matter, or her child, waiting with something like shame to be fed a berry uglier than shame. Though it is not like this for the deer. It is not shame, because the deer is not human. It is only almost human when it looks on the road and leaps, covering at least 30 feet in a blink. The deer I cannot be, the dumb deer, dumb and foolish enough to ignore anything that runs but is not alive. A trafficking machine filled with a distracted mind and body deadly and durable enough to deconstruct a deer. When it leaps, I'm telling you, like someone being chased. I remember a friend told me how when he was 8 or 9, a half-naked woman ran to the car window crying her man was after her with a knife. But his mother locked the doors and sped away. Someone tell him his mother was not a coward. That's what he thinks. Tell him it was because he and his little brother were in the back seat. She would not let the troubled world inside. It was no one's fault. The mind separated from the body. I could almost see the holes of her eyes, the white fuzz on her tongue, the raised buds as soft as a bed of pink seeds, the whole, a mouth stretched wide enough to hold a whole baby inside. I could almost see its eyes at the back of her throat. I could definitely hear its cries. I was on a boat with 3 other writers. We were going to a bar in the middle of a sea, if you've been to Calabash. It was a tiny boat. It started raining, and the kids were playing Kill, Fuck, or Marry. And then some of us was like praying. And so, please don't let this rain fill the boat. So that's where I first heard of the game. That's all I'll tell you. When given a choice, you don't love me, don't you love me, do you love me, kill, fuck, or marry. Miss America, Miss World, or Miss Universe, kill, fuck, or marry. All the fit girls in fitted outfits, or the misfits who don't cry enough, who don't sob, but keep looking up, sighing, thank you, Lord, thank you, thank you. Or the nitwits who throw shit fits, kill, fuck, or marry. I am not a relic, but I am letting the beautiful hours decay. You have to say what you want when given a choice. Twiddle-dee, twiddle-dum, or someone who twiddles his thumbs. Someone with a nervous tick, a linguistic tick, or dog ticks, kill, fuck, or marry. You can call it do, die, or date. It begins with swallowing a few names: Johnny Walker, Jack Daniels, or Jim Beam, kill, fuck, or marry. Hitler, Stalin, or Mussolini. Who would you kill, who would you fuck, and who would you marry? You can call it butcher, pillage, or populate. It begins with familiar things: a rock, a flame, a flag attached to a spear. Someone with a black eye, pink eye, or red eyes. Colored, Negro, or black. Kinship, friendship, or courtship. Someone who believes in whatever looks good, whatever feels good, or whatever God is good. Kill, fuck, or marry. Are you attached to anything? A left hook, a meat hook, a hook shot, a shot clock, an alarm clock, a biological clock? What will you sell? What will you abandon? What will you carry? How much do you cost? I have a playbook of the expensive shit I want blown up. I have a playlist of the songs I want played when I am buried. Pour some sugar on me. I want a little sugar in my bowl. Sugar on the floor. You can call it bang, bless, or bury. Someone with a diseased mind, someone with a diseased heart, or someone with a diseased spirit. Dicks, dictions, or derelictions. Swells of violets, swells of violence, or swells of violins. Lord, I do not approve of the way science is changing me. Lord, I do not approve of the ways time is changing me. Lord, I do not approve of the way money is changing me. Kill, fuck, or marry. You can call it clobber, coax, or colonize. You can call it run down, ransack, or rape. You are surrounded by trees. You are surrounded by oceans. You are surrounded somewhere between Saturday night and Sunday morning in a strange valley. You can call it I came, I saw, I conquered, or I came, I saw, God conquered. Jesus, Buddha, or Muhammad. Kill, fuck, or marry. You have to choose love if you want to change. You have to change to love. You have to love and why and what, who you choose to slaughter, to sing, who you choose to slide into or have slide into you. Sometimes I want a built-in scalp that looks and feels like skin, a form of camouflage, protection against sunburn and frostbite, horsehair that covers the nightmares and makes me feel civilized. Somebody slap a powdered wig on me so I can hammer a couple sentences like Louis XIV, small and bald as a boiled egg, making himself taller by means of a towering hairpiece resembling a Corinthian pillar, or maybe a skyscraping kid with no play wig worn by someone playing niggas with no attitudes at a penthouse party featuring no black people. We up in the club humming, hey mama. Somebody slap me. Norman Mailer's essay, The White Negro, Superficial Reflections on the Hipster, actually never uses the word wigger. I'd rather say whack. It may be fruitful to consider me a philosophical psychopath. We clubbing in our wigs of please and pathological coulda, woulda, shouldas, oblong with longing for the ladies in their wigs of knots, nods of knots, knots of knots, do not, cannot, oughta not. Follicles of filamentous biomaterial dipped in dye the color of cosmopolitan, citrus, wheat beer, swirling on their scalps, off their scalps, side of scalps, the center of their parts and irrigated plaits. Flirty bangs dangle below a bow clip of sparkle. A lady places her bow about face to place her face in place, which is a placebo of face. Her face is a placebo of place. Let's wear ontological ready-made wigs, custom-made wigs, hand-tied wigs, and machine-made wigs. No Negro can saunter down a street with any real certainty violence will not visit him. Bullets shout through the darkness. Dumb people are dangerous. Calamity pimps come out of the woodwork and start paddling their own canoes. This is what a white dude said in response to the death of Trayvon Martin. Let's beat that apathy wig right off him. You wear the shark head wig and I'll wear the wig of tide water rising to the ceiling. When anybody says you look beautiful, reply, I feel beautiful. Like the beautiful shoulder-length locks shorn from a cancer-stuffed bride in need of money. Let's get higher than God tonight. Like the military wives of imperial Rome, smiling in blonde and red-haired wigs sewn from the scalps of enemy captives. Somebody slap me. We are washed in liquor, watching the coils curl, curls coil, coils coil, curls curl on the girls. Non-slip polyurethane patches, superfine lace, ISIS wigs, Cleopatra wigs, big booty Judy wigs, under the soft radar-streaked music of climax singing, the men all pause when I walk into the room. The men all pause and they all sing. The men all pause, the men all animals, the men all fangles, the men all woofs, a little bit lost, a little bit lust, lustrous, trustless, restless as the rest of us. In my life, the wigs eat me. The wish to live a while on the mind of another human, it is not inhuman. The wish to slide for a while inside another human, it is not inhuman. If you like I like, you should wear a headpiece. It is peace of mind, it is artistic, it is a lightweight lightness, comfortable wash and wear, virtually looking and feeling with virtually no side effects. Let me hear you say it. This wig is terrific. A colored despair wig for your colored despair. An economic despair wig, a sexual despair wig, a wig for expressive despair, political despair, a movable halo. Your new wig can be placed and set upon the older wig, just as the older wig was set when it was newer upon the wig beneath it. Where's your wig? Where your wig at? Where your wig?